Hello everyone, welcome back to this session. I am Sanyukta Saxena and today we'll be furthering our journey on Zentangle and Calligraphy. In the last session we learned a few new strokes like drawing the oval shape clockwise, anti-clockwise, writing the letter O. Yeah. So today let us use kind of that stroke, although it is mostly used in many of the lowercase letters, but we will draw the letter or we'll write the letter D today, right, and use kind of that shape, the oval shape that we practiced in the last session. So starting right away with a swash and a heavy down stroke using my blue brush pen here, and then going up all the way like this, and then taking it easy coming down again, right? So kind of an oval form there, although not exactly, but yes. Uh, if you want to add a shadow, again, it is up to you. I'm using my pink here, so you can stick to the right side or the left side. So I'm just going to stick to the right side now. So I'm using my pink brush pen and then adding a shadow, an aura on the right side, right? Again, this is the upstroke, the downstroke. So when you are adding shadow, take each stroke at a time. Again, it is going up. So the other side. Like this. Yeah. So that's our alphabet D. We are now going to tangle around it. We will also learn some more strokes today, the ascending loop and the descending loop. But before we move on to that, let us first deck up our D. So again, I would say your choice of tangles. Choose the tangles that come to you easily. I'm just going to start with a tangle called Xander. So I'm going to add these parallel lines like these. Yeah. And then I'm going to add some dotted lines as if the lines have a highlight, especially the in-between lines in between these parallel lines. So I'm just joining these with kind of shaky dotted lines to form a tangle called Xander. You can add some weight here. Right? Now moving on, next we can add some more tangles. So inside space I'm going to add some really flowy mukas. Yeah. So this space I'm just going to probably aura, or the entire space can be filled with muka, whichever way you like it. Like this, and again I'm going to go up all the way, turn, come down, again go up, draw muka. Inside here also I am going to add muka only, add another muka. In the leftover space again I am going to go with muka. So you can add sprouts, you can add muka the way you have drawn first, whichever way you feel like. Just that I'm sticking to muka as far as this section is concerned. Some bit of spaces left here and there, just add an aura. Yeah. And then the rest of the spaces, one of the tangles that I'm choosing here is jet tees. You can comfortably squeeze in some orbs here and there. Draw a band across. Sorry. like this, and then ink it and leave a highlight or sparkle. Yeah. Take your time, slowly choose the tangles that come to you easily. I'm just giving a suggestion here, choosing some of the tangles that I feel like drawing at this point of time. So that's jetties. Probably we'll add one more. Try changing directions every time. Yeah. And then probably you can add some poke leaves, poke roots, whatever you feel like. Take your time. Again, some caviars, always a good idea. Some bit of inking here and there always adds. Yeah. And then some bit of flowers here using the rock and roll version of Diva Dance. You can add any tangle of your choice, any flower tangle, since we have leaves and petals here, stems here. So why not add some flowers also? So take your time and slowly add one or two flowers. This tangle is Diva Dance, just that it is arranged in a fashion that it forms a flower, and this version of Diva Dance called Diva Dance Rock and Roll. You can add as many as you want. And probably some bit of flux there. Just going with the spaces that I have. Yeah. So we don't need to add anything else. If you want to add something here below as we did in the other alphabets also, then you can choose any tangle of your choice. Probably we will go with a tangle called bridge. Yeah. So I'm just going to add a square grid here. So just drawing some random lines and then adding the second set of lines. And then ink alternate spaces. Yeah. So slowly ink alternate squares, whatever portion is visible. Take your time, ink nicely, don't haste up. So it's always a good idea to add one or two such tangles which have lot of inking. As I keep saying, they add instant drama to your tile. So whether it is an alphabet or any piece of work that you are doing, it's always a good idea to add some of these tangles. Take your time and slowly ink alternate squares just like a checkerboard. Yes, that's the Tangle Knight's Bridge. You see this kind of a pattern quite often in Knightsbridge area of London. That's where it is inspired from. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm not going to add anything else. Let us stop here and let us first shade, and then we can see if we want to add something more. Thick graphite here to give that depth. Poke leaves. One side of flux. One side of jetties. So you can shade the way you wish to. That's fine. There's no hard and fast rule there. Yeah. So again, just a touch on your Diva Dance flowers. Let us blend this much first. One side of your jetties. Small spaces, so don't blend too much. Use the tip of your blender if required. Right? And the last one here, your Xander. So let us now use our chalk a little bit, yeah, on the other side of the D, the inside space, the other side of your jetties. Some touch on the Diva Dance, where you have not added graphite. The other side of your Xander, and probably some touches on, slight touches on your Knightsbridge, not much. That's about it. If you want to soften the chalk, you can. Just brush off the excess. Yeah, so that's our D. You want to add some more tipples here, you can. You can add any other tangle, flux, some more flux. Yeah, this looks a little abrupt. I'll just extend a little more. Yeah. So let us now add some chalk pencil. So I'm using my green here and just going to add some green. Choose a color that you wish to. So I've used a lot of organic tangles here, but there is no green, so I'm just adding some bit of green. Blend it nicely. If you want, you can also use this chalk on your leaves inside the tangles. Yeah. So slowly just blend it nicely with your tile. So in the background, either you can leave it as such, or you can, as we have done in rest of the tiles also, you can have some pieces of Knightsbridge for just flying around. So I'm just adding some of these diamond shapes here and there, just to build some kind of a relation with the base. Again, these are optional. You may not do it. You can leave the tile as such. Yeah. Yeah, probably one here. If you want, you can add a touch of shadow with your white chalk on one side, but these things are optional. It's a slight touch. That's about it. That's our D. Yes. So let us close our tile here. Put in your chop, sign and date. So that was about our tile. So today we are going to learn two more strokes, which is the ascending stem loop and the descending stem loop. Right? So remember this format that I gave to you, that you can download from Sakura of America's website, or you can just draw these 4 lines, because you would require, just for the sake of reference, 4 lines for drawing the ascending and descending loop. Right, so these are about 1.1 centimeter, so there are 4 lines. So this is the base line, right, and this is the waist line. Yeah, so there are basically 4 lines. You generally write between these 2 lines, but when you want the ascending or the descending loop, then you use these 2 lines also. Yeah. So as I mentioned in my previous session also, if you want to use this format as a reference, then ideally, to avoid taking out too many printouts of this format, just use a tracing paper and write over the tracing paper and use these lines as a reference. So the ascending loop will be starting from here. This is the baseline and you will go up to this place, right? So start somewhere here. Today I am using my Tombow brush pen. Yeah. So this is the ascending loop, starting with a soft upstroke and coming down heavy. soft upstroke and coming down heavy, soft upstroke and coming down heavy. Yes, that's the ascending loop. Upstroke is always lighter, downstroke is always heavy. So you will use this stroke for writing H, for B, for P, for many. I'm starting from the baseline going up to the ascender line, right? This is the ascending stem loop. So you need to practice this. Yeah, so just keep this, make sure it doesn't move. Yeah, similarly we have the descending loop or the descending stem loop. It will start from here, come down heavy, and then just release the pressure. Come down heavy, heavy downstroke, and release the pressure. So today I am using Tombow. Yes, so you can see they come in different nib sizes, so just choose yours depending on what width, how thick or thin you want the lines to be. So this is the descending loop that we use for many alphabets like G, for F, many, Z. So make sure you are holding your hand at an angle. Yeah, so it makes things easier. So again I'll show you once more. Light hand, come down heavy, right? And then heavy, and then a light hand. Light upstroke, come down heavy, heavy downstroke, and a light upstroke. Light upstroke, come down heavy, and a heavy downstroke, and a light upstroke. Yeah, so they are the ascending and the descending loop. Do practice them. Either you can practice it this way, or you can just practice on your normal scrap sketchbook, just the way I mentioned. You can just draw 4 lines. In this case it would be nice to draw 4 lines and then practice. Yes, I shall see you again with some more letters, more of calligraphy, more of Zentangle. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.